It was a Sunday afternoon in 2018, and I was going with a friend to carve pumpkins because it was around October. Actually, it was October 28th. And so we got all the pumpkins from Trader Joe's, and we are going to carve them out with some friends. We go back to the house and everything. We find out one of them's rotten. So we take the rotten one, we carve it out. It's disgusting inside. We're like, okay, we're not going to use this. It's not going to last. So we decide, it was just a friend of mine and we were childhood friends. Our families have known each other forever. And she's like, well, what do you want to do with this? And I was like, let's just, let's get rid of it. Let's destroy it. Let's do something. So a friend had previously gone on a family trip to New Mexico, and she came back with a ton of fireworks. So naturally, my inclination was, let's take a firework, let's shove it in the pumpkin, and let's blow this thing up. So not a good idea in California, especially with all the fires that go on. It's really dry, and it's October, so it's getting near fire season. So we go hike up to a place near my house, and we get up there, and it's pretty clear. I mean, there's brush around, but it's a big dirt area at the top of the hill. So I take this, it's a mortar, it's about 2 inches in diameter, it's pretty big, and it's probably 4 inches long. No mortar tube, we just shove it in the pumpkin, and we light it, and we back up. And we didn't know that we put it upside down. So when it exploded, it went down and then out, and it canopied in space. So we didn't think it was gonna be that big. And you're gonna hear that a lot. We didn't think through this whole story. That's like the main point of the story. So we didn't think it was gonna be that big. And when it exploded and canopied, it started 1, 2, 3, 4 spot fires, and it just started eating up the hill. So she has her hydro flask, and I'm running around trying to kick stuff out, do whatever I can. She's putting some stuff out. And then we turn around, and it's chest high and just eating up the hill. And it's completely out of our control at that point. So we turn ourselves in, we explain what happened, they take a police report, they file a report. We have our mug shots taken and everything that, is supposed to go along with turning yourself in for a criminal offense. So they explained to us afterwards, because you came forward, it's probably not going to be as bad as you think, but we'll still let you know. So we weren't detained or anything. We just filed a report and then left. And that was on Sunday. So it took them 3 days to figure out what to do. So from Sunday to Wednesday, I'm thinking juvenile detention, I'm thinking like public service, I'm thinking a huge fine, like all of this is just churning in my head. And I'm 17 at the time. So I'm just like, my life hasn't even started yet, and I'm already at a negative here. And she's thinking the same thing too, like, what's gonna happen? So on Wednesday, I'm sitting at my house, and I get a call from the fire chief, and he explains to me, hey, we need to sit down with you, and we need to talk about, what happened, and finish filing the report and all just the general process of things that they do. So my dad and we go and meet with the fire chief, and we sit down, and he asks me what happened, and I explain what happened. And he's like, I need you to understand the gravity of the situation. And during the time I was working at In-N-Out, and that's important because he was explaining, we had 40 firefighters, we had 2 helicopters, 7 water drops each. These guys are working overtime labor, and all the gas, all the equipment, everything. Like, this is more than you'll make in 5 years at your current job. Like, there's no way you're gonna pay this fine off. So I'm sitting there like, okay, it's a little bit more serious than like, oh, it's, a piece of wood burned, and God forbid anybody gets hurt in the process, then we're not having this conversation. And I'm expecting him to go, okay, you either pay the fine or, you have to do some things to clean this up. And instead he sits across from me, and he explains a story about him burning a barn down with a firecracker when he was a kid. And just playing the same thing with fire, and not knowing how it's gonna go, and you have no idea, you have no control over the situation. And I'm sitting there like, this dude could totally just say, that's it, you're done, you have to figure this one out on your own. But instead he meets me where I'm at, and actually makes me feel as though, like, yes, I did something wrong. However, there's forgiveness in that. Um, and so he explains that story to me, and then he goes, "What we're going to do is we're going to consider it a warning, seeing to the fact that you guys came forward. We don't have to have like an arson investigator go through all the painful process of figuring out who it was. We know who it was. Nobody got hurt. So we're considering this a warning. But if there's any fires in that area, we're coming to you first." And I was like, that's fair to me. So I'm sitting there with a debt I cannot pay, with just so many things churning in my head of what's going to happen next. And this guy sitting across from me that could totally just end my life in a lot of ways. And he chooses not to. Yeah, relieved, but also extremely grateful towards that man, because I knew that was a moment where it could have changed the rest of my life. You know, even if I wasn't like punished to the full extent of the law, even if it goes on my record, you know, that still follows you for a long time, and it changes the course of, you know, hiring at jobs or going to school or, you know, doing whatever. It changes things. So I was extremely grateful and relieved when I was forgiven. It, like, this weight that was on me was just completely lifted off.